Hey, what's going on, Pats Nation? Welcome to another edition of the Ken's Pats Talk Patriots podcast. We're gonna sit here Monday. It's August the 12th. Me and my boy Stats, here he is, man. We about to get in here. We about to talk some Patriots. We got the Patriots and Eagles joint practice starting tomorrow. Big preseason game, a big game for the development of the rookies. The rookie quarterback Drake May, big game for him, and just to see where your defense stacks up at against a top-notch offense. We also going to recap a little bit of the Patriots and Panthers game because we ain't been live since last week, so we're gonna get into that. And oh yeah, Juju Smith-Schuster got released, so we definitely gonna cover that, man. But what's first off, what's going on, Stats? What's good with you?
Nothing much, man. It's been a busy couple days, but I'm excited to get back talking some Patriots ball. It's long overdue.
Yeah,
So,
man, busy is an understatement. It's been very busy, man.
yep.
Let's go ahead and recap. Start with the recap of the Patriots and the Panthers game last Thursday, man. What did you take from that game? I know what everybody wants to talk about. Drake May didn't play a lot, and Brissett didn't even play a lot, and we spent a lot of time with Zappy and Milton. But what is your biggest take from and some of your standouts from the game last Thursday against the Carolina Panthers?
So obviously the first thing people jump to is is Drake May not playing, a lot, enough as people want to see, especially with the other rookies playing like almost full quarters, especially Bo
Yeah,
Nix, McCarthy playing like 2-3 quarters of the game. Um, I don't think it was a bad decision. Only because the weather was really bad. We don't really know what's up with the O line yet. Playing with different left tackles, so I don't mind the decision. I would have liked to see maybe 2 or 3 more drives out of Drake, but I think they're also trying to raise Bailey Zappi's trade stock just to get something out of him, maybe. Um, with players that stood out to me, we actually talked about this on that night. O'Shane Simmons, I always forget how to say his last name. I think he was our best player on defense overall. He played the majority of the game. Not only is he a great edge rusher, he's also an extremely good run stuffer. Jeremiah Farms Jr. had a really good game. Jeremiah Farms Jr. is taking steps over guys like Armon
yeah.
Watts and Sam Roberts. He was actually great, had almost a 90 grade from PFF. But those two were my biggest standouts. And then another player that I think could sneaky make the roster is Sean Wade. He actually had a pretty good game. He had a nice pass breakup. Almost had an interception. If he picked it up, would have been a touchdown. But the defense had some nice moments, and then obviously Joe Milton was awesome in the drives he played.
Yeah, what about Jaquay Jackson? I think he had a pretty good game. Kayshawn Booty was a little hot, then he got caught at the end with a drop. I think if he'd have made one of those last two targets, we could probably go ahead and pencil him in as not a starter, but as a in the 53-man roster. I think Taquan Thor, I think he would have had a touchdown if Jacoby Brissett would have led the ball. I don't know where you were sitting there. 'Cause I know you went to the game, forgot about that, but I think that if he would have led him a little more, rolling to his right, I think Taquan was his last read. He would have had a touchdown there. It just shows the arm strength of Brissett and the kind of just the efficiencies between him and Drake May. Because Drake May, I'm pretty sure would have laid it, probably would have overthrew him if it was May.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Brissett with the underthrow, and then the weather was bad too. I do want to touch on Drake. Drake May not playing a lot. I think it had a lot to do with the rain, the weather, the offensive line. It had a lot of things to do. I mean, and then hell, we didn't know. Well, the coaches didn't know that they was going to get two penalties and they was going to go 3-and-out. Or they didn't know all that. So if you take out those penalties and if they can convert a first down, maybe if Jalen Reagor catches that pass, then probably the drive still extends, and probably you still probably don't get to see Drake May again. So a lot of things played out that wasn't in the team's control, whatnot. So I don't mind that. Another one, my student, I like what I'm seeing from Marco Wilson. I
Yeah.
think he's going to be a contributor. I think he's going to make the team. Kind of struggle there in Arizona, but maybe a different scheme can really set him up. Can really bring the best out of him. I think he struggled in Arizona. Is probably why they let him go. But I like what I'm seeing from the cornerback room. The young development of guys, and they're young and they're long too.
Yeah, I'm kind of that might be my new most interesting position. Obviously, you turn to the wide receivers, but we have so much depth in the cornerback group because even a guy like Mikey Victor can make the team. Mikey Victor's had a really good preseason and camp as well.
Yeah, him. Yeah,
He had an interception. It was 100% an interception. I don't know why they overturned it. He caught that ball, but he's had a nice camp too. Isaiah Bolden's had a nice camp. It's going to be a tough decision to cut down the roster because you can only hold so many of those guys. But a lot of guys stock rose for me that game, like Sean Wade and like Marco Wilson. I think they had great games, and obviously the guys on the D line that I said. With Drake May, I will say one thing that stood out to me: Jalen Rager's got to catch that ball. I think that's a pretty good ball by Drake because I think if he throws
it was raining, but yeah, I think you
yeah,
NFL receiver, you got to catch. You got to catch. Wow.
it was raining, and I will say I'm gonna give Jalen Rager slack on that. But Drake May put that in a perfect spot because if he put it lower, the defender could have just wrapped around and just deflected it. I think he put that in a good spot, but again, the conditions weren't great. I saw a video that Dan Orlovsky posted, breaking down everything that Drake May did. He said his footwork looked really good. He said his handoff control looked really good, which is all good signs. Little things is what you like to hear from young quarterbacks, especially with Drake May, who struggles with stuff like that.
And that was some of his problems coming out of college too.
And, you love hearing that he, in college, his problem was, having like the couple of more extra hitches that you don't need to have when you're throwing the ball. He's kind of been cutting down on those. He seems to be getting the ball out a lot quicker. So I'm loving the direction that Drake's heading in. And Alex Van Pelt said it himself. Everything that the coaching staff could ask him to do.
Joseph, what's going on with you? Joseph said, what's up, gents? Glad to see you, Bo. Glad to see you too, man. Glad you're here. 11 of y'all in here. Make sure you hit that like button on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe. Give me the thumbs up. Share the content if you're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever you're at. But on YouTube, please hit that like button. Diane says, welcome, Kevin and Stats. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts on the last week's preseason game with the Carolina Panthers. Same here. Let's go. That's from Joseph. Let me see. Down to hear you guys' thoughts on the joint practice, but can I switch it up real quick for Ken and Stats? As of right now, on August 12th, can I hear each of you list your top 3 teams?
Question.
We'll go ahead and pick. I'm gonna go Chiefs, Eagles. No, Chiefs, 49ers, and Eagles. A team we're gonna see tomorrow.
I'm gonna go Chiefs, Niners, Ravens. I was going to say the Lions because I really like the Lions, but I don't think they're quite there.
Yeah, I want to see what the Ravens got at the wide receiver position outside of Zay Flowers. I think they're kind of slacking there a little bit. I think they need another wide receiver.
I heard the whole thing about the Nelson Aguilar, Lamar Jackson. Frustrated with him.
Welcome, Ken and Stats. Down to hear your take on the Klein, the D line, I'm assuming, or is that Klein?
E-line or O-line, I'm guessing, yeah.
Probably offensive line. We definitely get into that.
Not great.
His Stats and Ken, down to hear your take on joint practice. We about to get into joint practices. Let's start with Juju Smith-Schuster got released. So I do want to touch on that, man. Not surprising. I actually think they did him a good disservice by doing it. Well, not a disservice, but they did a good job by getting rid of him now so he can try to catch on with the team. But how did you feel? What you feel about that? I don't think it's a shocker. I think if anything, it gives the young guys more opportunities.
It needed to happen, Ken. I mean, he just had no place on this team at all. Unfortunately for him, injuries have killed his career because earlier in his career he was awesome. And even when we signed him, I was super excited about the signing. It is unfortunate that Coach Mayo and Elliott Wolf were left in a situation where, you got a washed up receiver that's, taking a lot of money off the cap that you probably have to cut because I've been there most of the camps. He was by far your worst receiver at camp. He was getting no separation. He probably dropped 6 or 7 passes that he should have had. Even Jaquay Jackson was having a better camp. So it had to happen. I think the only teams he can really sign with are the teams we kind of just listed right there. Just, top end teams that he can maybe slide into. He's not going to help a developing young team. His body's not meant for that anymore. He's too banged up. I'm curious to see what happens, but that needed to happen. No matter what, you have to eat and cap for it.
And then it opens us up for Javon Baker, Jalen Pope. We didn't get into it. I think the rookies looked pretty good on last Thursday. Javon Baker had a couple catches. Pope had a couple nice contested grabs. I think Tyquan Thornton was getting open booty, as we mentioned to start off the show. He did pretty good. But I like what I've seen from Jalen Pope and Javon Baker. And it's good that they're going to get even more opportunities now with Juju Smith-Schuster because they was already ahead of him. But now they only have to worry about Juju Smith-Schuster being on the roster now. I think for what I've seen, I just didn't see the energy from him, the motivation. I don't know if it was because he's on a bad team. I don't even think it's that. I just don't think he has it anymore. He suffered from that injury he got from the Chiefs, and I think he said last year he was 70%, and he looked like it. But then he said this year was 100%, and he just hasn't looked right. No separation. Then he's like a big slot receiver. So he's not he's like a big slot or a Z receiver. But Juju Smith-Schuster, I don't think he has it anymore. Then the injuries piled up on him.
Yeah, he just he brought last year, when he first signed with us, he loved the attention from the fans. And this year, a lot of guys gave it to him, but he still didn't get it. He didn't, he just looked like he had zero will to be at practice whatsoever, which is, not a good thing. If you're, with a guy like him, he was fighting to make a roster spot. Coach Mayo, kind of said it in the nice way possible. When they asked him about it, he said he wanted to make room for the younger guys. He just didn't fit our receiving core. It's perfectly said. It's kind of the reason. And also, from, our perspective, he's just not that good anymore, to keep it plain and simple. So I think it was the right move.
Damari, what's going on with you, man? Please make sure y'all hit that like button on YouTube. Hit that like button. We really appreciate it. The weather was messy. Good point. Oh, yeah, of course.
Terrible.
This is an intro. Joe Milton got me excited. Let's go ahead and address it. I mean, Joe Milton, and I think we called it last week before the show. We said, watch, Joe Milton is going to go off in the preseason, and all the talk shows are going to go crazy the following day. And boy, what happened? So I like what I seen from Joe Milton. The pass to Jaquay Jackson was nice. He looked off. It was like he had pump and go. He looked off the safety on both. Looked off the safety to the right of the field. It came back over here. Got the safety to go to pull to the middle of the field, and he had Jaquay Jackson wide open. Man, what did you like? What did you see from Jaquay Jackson, but Joe Milton?
Before I even get into Joe Milton, that was a clean route by Jaquay Jackson. He completely lost that defender, and it was a good read by both Joe Milton and Jaquay Jackson. Joe Milton, obviously preseason, he's gonna bring you those exciting plays. That 12-yard scramble he had where he ran like 100 yards in the backfield was insane. That's an awesome. That's a play you love to see. Kind of reminded me of Cam Newton a little bit. He also had another one where he pump faked downfield and got a first down, and then obviously that pass to Jaquay Jackson. He just brings so much more energy than Bailey Zappi. Bailey Zappi, could barely string together a first down drive when he was in.
And I mean, Zappi stats wise was okay, but I think he kind of probably almost had a couple interceptions too.
Yeah, okay. So a couple things. That throw to Kayshon Boutte was not a good throw at all. It just barely got over the defender. It was super underthrown. But yeah, Zappi had some decent moments. But a lot of those, he had probably 6 or 7 drives that game, and he probably averaged maybe a first down. Yeah, he just Joe Milton just brings a lot more energy. But we knew this was gonna happen. May played a drive, and as soon as I saw May come out, I'm like, Joe Milton's gonna, the hype train's gonna start, and he deserves it. He played really well. I've already told you this. I would love him as our third quarterback over Bailey Zappi. I just think he brings you every tool and more over Zappi, but we'll see what happens with that.
And we do have to keep in context that he was going against third and fourth streamers. Some of these guys are not going to make the team. Let's see how he does tomorrow against the Eagles. He'll still be going against third and fourth streamers, but Eagles got a pretty good, deep roster. I actually about to get him to the joint practice tomorrow, but Eagles got a pretty good roster. I want to interested to see how he does tomorrow. I want to see how the rookies do tomorrow too. But I think with Joe Milton, I think we need to slow down on the hype train right now. It was mop up duty basically. He looked good or whatnot. He did, but I don't want fans to get confusing with who the starting quarterback is right now, who's probably going to be in the long term. So we don't know for sure. I think Joe Milton's going to make the team. I think he'll make the team. I think Zappi will probably end up getting traded or released here pretty soon.
I agree. Perfectly said.
We do have joint practices coming up tomorrow. So I'm going to say, hold on. Jamar says, plus we won't get anything for him, maybe a 6-rounder. I'm assuming you're talking about probably Bailey Zappi.
Yeah, it's because I mentioned we were just trying to raise this trade value. I think a team like the Carolina Panthers could be looking to trade for a guy like that because their backup QB situation is not great. So I think
the Giants, not the Detroit Lions. I think I see the Lions doing.
Yeah, Hendon
quarterback got hurt. Yeah,
yeah. But I think that's maybe what Coach Mayo was aiming for. Just try to raise his trade value a little bit, but he just doesn't bring a lot to the table, and enough that would excite other teams.
Joseph said Zappi was not good. I was there. Yuck. See, out of kill for a 6-rounder. I've been asking for a pair of cleats. Let's go. Nathan says Boutte had a great game. Got me thinking if he has a chance to make the final roster. What are your thoughts? I think good question. Actually, want to get into it. I think he does. I think Boutte makes the final roster. Interesting thing about him, he's not the fastest, and he kind of plays kind of like a Osborne, kind of like Juju. He's like I don't know if he's an X, but he kind of has that same body type as those guys. Yeah. So I don't think he's an outside X. He's not a slot like Baker, but he kind of has like a strange body. Like he's kind of. I think you can. We already have a lot of Boutte types on the roster. Based what I'm trying to say. So I'm trying to think where does he fit it, but I do think he makes the team. I don't know about Tyquan Thornton now.
Yeah, we had our weekly hype with Tyquan Thornton. I'm already off it. He had a drop. He had a bad drop today.
And warm-ups.
He's already dealing with the injuries again. I think Jalen Rager has a better chance to make it over him, unfortunately. But we'll see. I do think Keisham, Butte makes it. He did have a bad drop, but again, not the best weather. But that catch he had with the throw by Zappy was, he adjusted to the ball really well, and he got 10 yards after the catch too. Those are the plays you need to see from guys that are fringe roster cuts, or guys that could be cut. So you like to see that at Keisham Butte.
Diane says nice touchdown, Jackson. Yeah, Jackson had a pretty solid game. Had a couple catches in the end of touchdown, so that was good for Jaquay Jackson. He's probably not gonna make the team, probably practice squatter. Joseph said, "I'm joking, but I'm not." Let's see. Yeah, that was definitely an interception versus the Panthers. Agree. Let me see. Nathan says for sure. What did you think of Booty? Yeah, we just went. I think Booty makes the roster. I don't know if he contribute this year because we kind of stocked up at wide receiver, but I definitely think he makes the roster. I actually think we can get him back on the practice squad.
I agree.
Just can you argue our most important player, Christian Gonzalez? What I mean by that, say he has been hurt. Oh, he has best season out of anyone on the Patriots. You got to think we win 6 to 8 games at least. I'm glad we're talking about Christian Gonzalez because I think this right here we actually can segue to our next topic. Joint press. I think this is a big joint press for Christian Gonzalez. He's really been struggling in the one-on-one, but one-on-one you can't really determine much. But even in team drill, he's been getting a lot of receptions. He's been allowing a lot of catches. So how do you think he should perform tomorrow against the Eagles?
I mean, yeah, he's going to be getting a lot of reps against Devontae Smith and AJ Brown, obviously, probably most of them. It is a big day for him. I don't like to overreact really on, he hasn't had the best camp, but he is the cornerstone of this team. He's the best player he's the most talented player on our roster right now. I'd like to see a big game out of Christian Gonzalez, a big practice out of Christian Gonzalez tomorrow. Sorry. Especially going against a talented team like them. He's rusty. He's hurt. Or he's coming off a brutal injury, 2 shoulder injuries. I think he'll be all right, though. And tomorrow he's going to prove it. He is our CB1. And, the other guys will only thrive off of him, even though he's way younger than everybody. He's going to be going against, like we've talked about, week 1, Chase, week 2, Metcalf, week 3, Ayuk, Debo.
Got a stack, man, stats. And I think him going up against, because you remember last year, week 1, he played pretty well against Devontae Smith for AJ Brown and company. Then against Garrett Wilson, Tyreek Hill gave him a big time shout out. I think that he needs to have a big day tomorrow because he's been getting ate up. And like I said, one-on-ones, you can't really judge too much about it, but he hasn't really been practicing good. And like I said, some players are gamers. You put them in a game and they ball out. So let's just hope that. But I think it's gonna be one of those instances. If he struggles when the game start week 1 against Jamar Chase, it's gonna be one of those instances where we're like, we kind of seen that during the training camp and practice. Like the right was kind of there. So I think it's a big day tomorrow. I want to see him locking up Devontae Smith and AJ Brown these team drills.
Yeah, what does give me optimism about him is what you just brought up, beginning of last year. Because even before he got hurt, CeeDee Lamb wasn't doing anything when we played Dallas. The second he comes out, CeeDee Lamb scores a touchdown. So it's just plays like that get me excited about Gonzalez. I'm not too worried about him. Again, it is a big day for him tomorrow. He's obviously going to have some grabs. AJ Brown's not going to not catch a ball.
Yeah,
he's going to catch passes tomorrow. I just want to see some highlight. maybe a PBU, maybe an interception from Gonzalez, something like that. But it is a big day for him.
Joseph, I'm just thinking if Chris Gonzalez is a first-team All-Pro, is he a guy that can lead us to a playoff berth? I wouldn't go that far. We only see him in 4 games. Let's just hold off a little bit on that. I wouldn't go that far. But I definitely think, we're going to know early about him because I know he's coming back from a shoulder injury, but it's not like he's coming back from a foot injury, a knee injury, a leg, something like that's going to hamper him, because, playing cornerback, yeah, you need your arms, but I think it starts down low with your feet and your knees, too. You got to be able to change direction, too. So at least he's coming back from an injury like a shoulder, up top injury. It's not nothing too crazy. So we got to see, man. We're counting on him on defense for sure.
100%.
Jamari says Chiefs, Niners, Texans for the top 3 teams. I don't think the Texans right now, Jamari. I can't see Texans right. I gotta see the chemistry. I gotta see the on field. I know CJ Stroud did look good on Friday night in the preseason against Pittsburgh, but I want to see more. I got to see how they mesh with Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell coming back from injury. See, Joe said Chiefs, Niners, and after that it's tough. I'd say Ravens. Okay. The same what you said, stats.
Yep.
Let me see. The defensive line played with a lot of energy.
They did. They
Yeah.
did.
I like what I'm seeing from Keon White. Dietrich Wise had a sack.
Yep.
Yes, yeah, facts. Let's see, D line was good. Why do you guys? Let's see. Why do you guys think the Panthers sat 30 guys? They were a 3-win team. I didn't get that. First preseason game, a lot of people don't play their starters. So I think that's kind of strange because Bryce Young ain't like Bryce Young lit the world on fire last year. I think if anything, he might need a rep. You got a new coach, a new coordinator. I mean, what do you think about that? I think that was kind of awkward.
I've been watching a lot of preseason football this weekend. Josh Allen has played. Patrick Mahomes played. Jordan Love played. CJ Stroud
played. Yeah.
There's no reason why Bryce Young shouldn't have played at least. Not even played. He didn't even dress. They didn't dress 30 of their guys. I don't like that decision at all. They don't have, besides maybe Deontay Johnson and Adam Thielen on the offense, there's not one proven guy in that skill position group or quarterback group that you can just say, oh, they don't need to play in the preseason. You should have given Bryce Young at least a quarter. I mean, I think at least he was one of the worst quarterbacks in football last year. Even the top 2 guys in the NFL played in the preseason. Even Joe Burrow played. So I wasn't really fond of that decision by Carolina, but it is what it is. It's a different organization. They run everything different. So we'll see.
Customs by Kino. Glad you're back, Ken. Appreciate it. Make sure y'all hit that like button on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. Share the content if you're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Also, if you want to support the channel, Cash App is at the bottom. Also, I believe that what stats. If you want to support the channel or support the show, we would greatly appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Let me see. Lucas Amano, I know it's preseason, but I'd say our defense and especially our linebackers look better already. Yes, linebackers look fast. It's a guy. I want to say, is it Gills?
Joe Giles Harris.
Joe Giles Harris. Yes, he looked pretty good.
And Joe Giles Harris.
Yeah, he looked real good. And there's another linebacker. I'm trying to get his name right now. It's I get it in a little bit, but he looked pretty good too. I like what I'm seeing for the pass. I think John Morgan, he had some pretty good pass rush reps. O'Shane, he got cut.
Yeah, John Morgan got cut today.
Okay, I didn't see that. It must came out late.
He had a solid game against Carolina, but you can only carry so many linebackers. But I loved what I saw out of Joe Giles Harris. He was awesome. He had a great PBU at the line, stuck his arms up, broke up a pass from I believe it was still Plummer in there. I've liked what I've seen from him. I think he has the legit shot to make the team.
And O'Shane Eximus. He looked real. He flies off the screen.
I loved him. I actually saw Mike Reese at the game. He was sitting right behind me. I was talking to him a little bit. Great guy, by the way. I was talking to him and I was like, "Who do you think the best player has been so far? Who stood out to you?" And he said, "O'Shane. He was the best player." Him and
you talked to Mike Reese?
Oh yeah, he sat right behind me. It was so weird. But I was like, "Who stood out to you the most?" He said, Jeremiah Farms Jr. and O'Shane. I think it's I don't know how to say his last name. Simmons. But he was. They were both. Really
we
awesome.
Might be seeing his name a lot this year if he's making a lot of plays.
Oh yeah, especially with the Judon thing going on. But he was awesome, especially as an undrafted rookie too. You don't really hear that much noise about guys like that, and right off the bat. So that's good to hear.
Yes, I'm sticking with what I said. I said Juju is going to be retired at this point next year. Hey, he might can do some TikTok. Maybe he can do TikTok or something like that.
Yeah.
He's pretty good at TikTok though. So they say. I'd also like to say, in my opinion, Boutte is a lot. 3 catches and Thornton is gone. Aside from the miss, though, he did nothing from them. I think tomorrow, which we're about to get into these joint press, I think it's a big joint press for Tyquan Thornton too. If there's 2 players that this joint press tomorrow big for on offense, it's Tyquan Thornton, defense, Christian Gonzalez. I'm gonna see how Tyquan Thornton does tomorrow, especially in team drills. I don't care about the one-on-ones. I want to see how he does in team drills. I didn't hear his name today a lot.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Milton's not going to be a starter for the Patriots. I'm almost 99% sure, but he's fun to watch. But again, why did the Panthers sit half their team? Can either of you guys explain that to me?
That must have been.
We just went over there. I don't know.
Ridiculous.
Awkward. And I do expect Drake May to play a lot this Thursday. I was falling asleep watching Zappy. But Zappy has definitely improved from his rookie year, though. Yeah, I think he was solid. Didn't turn the ball over, but he did throw a couple hospital balls. Real quick, I want to get into the rookie quarterbacks. I know you watched some preseason week, Caleb Williams, JJ McCarthy, Jaden Daniels. How you think those guys look? And I kind of hate that they play because now all the pressure gonna be, well, everybody else played, but Drake May, well, the Patriots didn't play Drake May. So what you think about that?
Yeah, I'm not really worried too much about that. They all looked great, but again,
I like what I seen from Caleb Williams though.
yeah, JJ McCarthy played like 3 quarters. Bo Nix
Yeah,
played like a half. Caleb Williams, there's definitely zip on his ball. There is a glaring problem with Caleb Williams if you know football, and it was a problem coming out of college too. He holds onto the football way too long
he
sometimes.
likes to run outside of. He like that.
Sometimes he has an easy check down play when things are broken down, and I watched it against the Bills. He did it 3 times. He doesn't like to go to the check down. He likes to roll out to his right. He never rolls out to his left, and he loves to make the big home run play. That's his one problem, and I think that's gonna bite him a little bit in the NFL.
I noticed that.
Other than that, he looked great, but he needs to understand it's not college football anymore. You got to take those check down plays sometimes. Obviously, I love when quarterbacks are aggressive, but if that's not there and you have a guy open in the flat and it's going to get you 5 yards, you got to go to it. But other than that, Caleb has zip on his ball. He looked great. Bo Nix, nothing really
I like
about
what
him
Bo did.
excites me, but he played good. He looked like a solid pocket passer. I actually think he's gonna end up winning that job in Denver out of those 3 scrubs over there. Jaden Daniels had some nice passes. He looked pretty good too. I would have been fine with getting Jaden Daniels or Drake May. I've loved Jaden Daniels since LSU.
And then another thing too, like we have to keep in context. Didn't mean to cut you off, but we have to keep in context that Jaden Davis was the number 2 overall pick. Kelly was number 1. They were drafted to start right away. They've been in college for forever. Drake
Yep.
May is a project, so everybody knew him coming out. He needs to sit. So maybe I guess it's from the Patriots standpoint, probably won't as important as get him the reps right now. But these Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams, they are day one starters ready to play right now. So they need to get those reps so they can gel because we are less than a month from the season start. But you can go ahead.
100% agree. Jaden Daniels, he's 24. You can't sit him. He's too old at this point. You need him to start. You need him to be good right away. Obviously, Caleb Williams, everyone's expecting him to be good right away because with all the hype he's getting, and we know with Drake May what he can be. He has the highest ceiling in the whole draft. He has every piece of talent that you need. And then JJ McCarthy, he had a really bad interception to Jack Jones. Which I thought was really funny. But other than that, he looked pretty good too. He had a nice throw down the left side. I'm not too sure who it was to, but that was a nice throw. He had some nice plays. Overall, all the guys looked pretty good. This quarterback class could be special in a couple of years. It really could.
Jamari, the crowd, Rip Zappy, a new one. I almost felt bad. How was the crowd, man?
So when May came in, it was the loudest I've ever heard a preseason crowd. When Zappy came in, it was also the loudest I've ever heard a preseason crowd, but like not in a good way. And boos, it was really bad. And then when Milton came in, people were relieved. The Zappy fever is officially.
That has to be a weird feeling for Zappy.
Yeah, there's not a single guy on the Zappy fever train anymore. Everyone's on the Milton May fever. No one cares. He's an afterthought. But yeah, it was bad.
Lucas says Milton looked good and easily beat Bailey Crappy out. Although everyone's got to pump the brakes. May's our guy. Yes, sir.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said.
Let's see. Facts. I was thinking the Panthers might want Zappy. Panthers would be a good fit to back up. But I don't know who they back. Well, one of their backers got hurt. Andy Dalton got hurt.
Yep.
To me, he looks better than Bryce Young.
and Jake Plummer, who went to my school, Louisville, he looked.
Jack Plummer, yeah.
Jack Plummer. Sorry, I don't know why I keep saying Jack. He looked bad.
I think the Falcons might because Heineke looked awful for them. Oh wow, I didn't see any of that game. Let's get into joint practices tomorrow, man. Big day for the Patriots versus Eagles. I do want to see how Drake May looks. I'm pretty sure he's gonna get a lot of run tomorrow. And keep in mind, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play a lot Thursday because if you play a lot, if you do a good and play a lot in joint practice, they're probably not gonna play you that much. But I'm hoping for what I'm here. I think Drake May is probably gonna play by a quarter, at least by the quarter and a half against the Eagles. I expect to see a lot more Brissett. But what are you most looking forward to tomorrow in these joint practices?
I will be there tomorrow. I'm super.
Oh, you gonna be there?
Yeah, I'll be there. There's gonna be a lot of energy tomorrow. I'm super excited. Look, guys, everyone in here. Drake May is going to struggle at points tomorrow. He's going against a star-studded team He's 21, and it's
Good defensive line.
first joins practice. Good defensive line against our offensive line. Which in a minute I have to get into a Vidarian Lowe talk for a second because I have something to say about him. But that's another point. Drake May. All I'm looking for tomorrow is signs of growth and making the simple plays, not doing a Caleb Williams, but also not being too aggressive. I think it's going to take him a while to ease into it, especially not even just with the talent. There's going to be a lot of energy. Joint practices bring a lot of, fights, a lot of, pushing and shoving. He's going to have to get acclimated to that. But, I'm super excited to see that. I'm really hoping our receivers can get separation tomorrow for Drake May and Jacoby Brissett.
Rookies.
Hasn't seemed to have been a problem lately. Christian Gonzalez and Jonathan Jones haven't had the best camps as we've said. These guys have been, they've been getting open, so let's hope they can continue that trend. And then the defense. Can our cornerbacks lock down their receivers tomorrow?
I'm keeping an eye on the offensive line. Man, what's going? Can Vidarian Lowe hold up them? I don't know who they're. Eagles got a deep defensive line. They don't have Reddick no more. That's a conversation for another. He's trying to get traded from the Jets.
Yeah, they got. They got Bryce.
Yeah, Huff. Yeah, they still got Is it Sweat? They don't have Sweat.
They have Sweat, Huff, Davis, Carter, and then they have
Nolan Smith.
Brandon Graham, Nolan Smith. They have that's a really deep line.
Yeah, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Milt. They got a bunch of guys over there. So I want to see how the offensive line perform tomorrow. I think we're going to know a whole lot tomorrow about this team and especially about this offensive line tomorrow. We're going to know a whole lot, man. I want to see Gonzo, like I said, opening against Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. He did pretty good against them week 1 last year, but it's been about a year ago now. I want to see mainly the offense, the trenches, our defense line against their offensive line because they got a solid offensive line, and their offensive line against our defensive line, man. I mean our defense line going up against theirs. I cannot wait to see that, man.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get into a little spiel real quick about
go ahead.
Our left tackle position. I'm very worried. I was at the game. I like to watch really close. I like to watch the little things. Obviously, the fans like to see, the big passes and, it's super fun. I like to see the little things because it's preseason. Vidarian Lowe played, I think, either 2 or 3 drives, and they didn't call a single false start on him. I'm going to say 4. He had 4 false starts missed. He has to, if he doesn't get that extra step for a false start,
it's bad
every time. He cannot start at left tackle. If you want Drake May to play at all this year, you might as well start Caden Wallace at this point, see what you got in him. Or B, you have to go sign a veteran. I don't care if David Bakhtiari is not his Pro Bowl form anymore. He is 20 times better than Vidarian Lowe. He cannot start if you want to play your rookie quarterback at 21 years old. Now, I understand he's more mobile than Mac, and he can get out of the pocket more. But if he's getting pressure from the left side,
you don't want him running out.
Yeah, especially from week 1, playing Cincinnati. Trey Hendrickson, elite edge rusher. Week 2, Boye Mafe. They have some elite guys in Seattle. Leonard Williams in D-line. He's going to get eaten alive. We need to protect this guy. I don't know why Coach Mayo has switched because when the line was at its peak, they were playing well. And Caden Wallace was at left tackle. And
I wonder why they switch. What are they just trying out? I wonder why they switch. What caused them to switch? Is it something mental? Probably, maybe something in the film room. I mean, I don't know.
It doesn't even really, seem like it's mental anymore because they've been playing low so much. And Wallace has a lot to work on. Trust me, he's not perfect. He's a project.
What did you see from him?
He let up a bad sack to Zappe. But other than that, he was actually pretty good in the run game. When Terrell Jennings came in, Caden Wallace actually looked pretty good. But I would just much rather start the guy with the upside at this point. Vidarian Lowe is the worst left tackle. He's the worst starting player on the Patriots. I just can't. With Brissett, maybe you can play him there because he's a veteran. But even then, Brissett's gonna get knocked around too. He can't move. Like he's not really elite in the pocket either. So I just think that's a real problem there.
Joseph, I read an article driving to the game that the Panthers were interested in Bailey Zappi because they want to get younger at the backup position. But after that performance, I don't know. Well, that's why he'd be a backup. That's why he'd be a backup. Let me see. Gonzo's just rusty. He'll be all right. Let's hope so.
I agree.
Joseph, 100%. Yes, sir. Let's see. Look, our team is going to shock the league. We're going to go 7-10 or higher. In my pick. Hey, I'd hope so.
That'd be a dream.
Yeah, that'd be good, man. We can do that. Diane said, "I hear you, Luca, about May. He is showing progress. Yes, he is starting to show progress.
Yeah, he's getting better every single day. That's all you could ask for. Today he had 2 highlight reel throws in the red. He's looked lights out in the red zone. You can say he's struggling, 2-minute drills, whatever. Every day they've done red zone, Drake May has looked lights out. He throws at least 2 touchdowns every time.
Yeah, that's good. Texans on paper, but Ken is right. Got to see more. Yeah, got to see more from Houston. Look, I finally my people left my. Let me see. LMAO. I've been getting clown on for being so high on us, but we're seriously underrated. I agree. It's a hot take, but I think the Texans would be a top 3 or 5 team. Well, you look at their moves they made this offseason. I don't think it's a hot take. I mean, they drafted and they went aggressively in free agency to really be good this year. So I think anything more than a playoff team, anything less than playoff team, I think it's a disappointment.
Yeah, I think that's a solid take. If you look at their roster on paper, it's up top to bottom. Even the defense now with Danielle Hunter, Derek Stingley in the secondary. They got Jimmy Ward in the secondary as well. They have a solid team. I think we gotta relax with Stroud a little bit, putting him in top 3-5 conversations because if he does have that sophomore slump, that's gonna affect them a little bit. But they have a really good roster.
Yeah. Their sideline looked like a high school team, and there was nobody dressed.
It was bad.
The Panthers is a joke. Got a bunch of comments rolling in. Please make sure y'all hit that like button on YouTube. We do have a special guest tomorrow, man. I am Smitty Eagle. He will be joining us tomorrow. He's an Eagles content creator. He's going to talk a little bit. We're going to break down joint practices tomorrow, and he will be back Wednesday. So last week we did have Panther Plug, and this week we will have a tomorrow. Make sure y'all check us out tomorrow. We're going to have another special guest coming on. I am Smitty Eagle. He will be coming on to talk about his Eagles, man. So cannot wait for that tomorrow. Please make sure y'all check us out tomorrow. Stats, anything left for the night? We've got a bunch of comments. I'm gonna have to roll over some of these comments to the next show. But Stats, anything you got left?
Yeah, but just cannot wait for tomorrow. It's gonna be a fun day. First joint practice of the year. We're gonna have a lot to talk about tomorrow night. We're not gonna have to venture off and into other conversations. We're gonna have a good 40 minutes of content tomorrow, especially with the Eagles content creator coming on with us. It's gonna be interesting. Just looking for growth from the young Patriots team tomorrow. I'm hoping the offense can get a little bit of life going, which I think they can because they've been doing well against our defense, who is right there with Philly's. Philly has a lot of unproven.
I want to see Jacoby Brissett tomorrow too. He's been lighting up. Let's see how he does tomorrow. Does he has it been too good to be true on Jacoby Brissett? Does he revert back to Jacoby Brissett tomorrow, or does he continue to play good? So that's what I want to see. But yeah, big show tomorrow, man. Tomorrow night, 7:30 East. We will be on time. I promise you. I think we do good being on time for the most part. Sunday will be lacking, but we will be on time tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I am Smitty Eagle. He's a big-time Eagles content creator. He will be joining us tomorrow and Wednesday. So Wednesday before preview of the actual preseason game, then tomorrow we're going to recap the joint practice. He's going to join us tomorrow. So special guest tomorrow. And just can't wait, man. I really do appreciate everything, man. And that's all you got?
Yes, sir. Can't wait for tomorrow.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, make sure y'all tomorrow. I want all y'all be waiting in the chat. 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We will be going live again tomorrow to talk about the Eagles Patriots joint practice with a special guest. I appreciate it, man. Y'all have a good one.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Yes, sir.